This is a mini album I made for my sister's 50th birthday. The paper I used is Stampin' Up! Beau Chateau. I made some homemade flowers out of satin and a zipper and a paper scrunched up one. This is made with acetate and sticky letters and a little bit of ribbon to embellish it. The binding is leather, and on the side here I have ribbons and fibers and some charms that kind of represent or remind me of my sister. We used to tell each other all our secrets, and we laugh and we giggle, and we're friends. There's a little cup in here, and that's because I miss having coffee with my sister. She lives in Quebec and I live in Nova Scotia, so we don't get to do it too often. But next weekend is her birthday, March the 18th, so I'm hoping to surprise her with this album and a visit for the weekend. This is a charm that I made, S for Sisters. And when you open it up, it's a picture of my sister and myself. Now I'm going to put it down so that I can put the album down flat so I can show you the inside. Now, one of the issues when you're making one of these albums is how to keep it closed, because they do get pretty thick. I was lucky. I was at Value Village looking around for just odds and ends one day, and I found this jacket clip that just works perfectly, and it's just the right size to fit the album. And the first page is a letter I wrote to my sister. I made it like a book format. The second page is all about angels. I made a tag that pulls out on the back. And this is a picture of her when she did her first communion when she was 8 years old. And then inside here I put a little notebook that she can put little notes about the day. She's got several little pages in there that she can put little comments on. And there's a tag that pulls out on this side. And it's a poem about believing in angels. And on the back there's some Stampin' Up! Stamps that I used. This page was inspired by the saying, and my sister is kind of a boosty kind of girl, so this was kind of appropriate for her as well. Now this is my second to favorite page. It shows my sister's beautiful smile. And in here there's pictures of her as she grew up and was older. And she still has that beautiful smile. Now this page, I just had to put it in the book, but I couldn't figure out how to set it in because of the size of it. It just wasn't working. But the ladies from my Stampin' Up! Team suggested that I do a flip page, which worked perfectly. And what this does is it says 5 decades equals, and it goes into months, weeks, days, hours, minutes, and seconds. And then the last one says, I bet 50 sounds good now. Just try to make her feel better about being 50. There's a little saying about being 50 actually. And some homemade flowers that I made out of chiffon that I dyed with ink refills, and a little metal plate that says happy birthday, and some Stampin' Up! Tags. And this flower was made with some satin that a girlfriend gave me and an earring that my boss gave me. She gave me a whole bunch of earrings. I just asked her for some old jewelry that she might not be using anymore, and so she gave me some, and that's one of them. And this page is just a sheet of acetate with the word cherish on it, because I do cherish my sister. And on this side I just placed lace to try to hide the sticky ribbon that was on the other side. And I keep forgetting these two pages. When you flip this one open, little cheap plastic picture frame that I embossed with silver embossing powder. And this is a tag. Carol had made a tag that's our team lead. She had made a tag, and mine isn't as beautiful as hers, but it's a slight reproduction of it. And that's a picture of my family. We won't say how long ago. And on this page, I just started talking about time, and it's true that time flies. And I wrote a little letter to my sister about what it felt like to make this album for her. And here there's another little saying. And we have the 24/7. We all know what that represents with sisters. We're always there for each other. And again on this side I emphasize the 24/7. Over here I took two little arrows and made like the hands of a clock to hold that down. And it says time. Bad news is time flies, but the good news is you're the pilot. So the whole album was made with little sayings that I found on the internet or in books. And I didn't have any metal clogs, so I made my own out of a cheap dollar store clock that I broke apart and took them and embossed them with silver embossing powder to make them look like metal. The next section is all about sharing, all the stuff that my sister and I have shared together. I made this with the Cricut, and this is another one of the earrings from my boss. This is the front of the earring. The back of the earring they were clip-ons, so I used the clip-on to make the pull for the tag. And this is another poem about sisters. And I stamped this for her, and there's a little special note in there for her that's kind of a personal note. Open this up. I'll come back to this page. This is again another little saying about sisters. The Cracker Jack reference here is every time we went up to my grandfather's cottage, we got a box of Cracker Jack at the corner store, and we'd share that between her and I and our brother. And then there's a little poem here it's a sister thing. It's a poem I found online, which was quite appropriate for us. And just a little. And on this side is we are sisters and we are a perfect match. We're kind of silly. This is a picture of us when our children got rocking horses one year and we decided to test them out. This is just us being silly. And us trying to pretend to be drunk even though neither of us drank. And this is a picture, my sister tried to teach me how to swim one year and all she got was a face full of water instead. In here. And the roosters. For years my sister collected roosters, so the Beau Chateau paper with the roosters was quite appropriate for her. This is another tag I made. It's leather and I just stamped it with one of our background stamps. It says sisters are friends through the years, but I still don't know what to put on the back of this one, so I'll have to think about that one some more. I have a week after all. Now, one of the most special moments my sister and I shared is our pregnancies, because our kids are only 8 weeks apart, so we were pregnant at the same time. And as you've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed, but throughout it's just going through the years. So we had our childhood and now motherhood. I wrote a little letter to her just to say what the stuff I remember from our pregnancies. And then I made this little tag to represent us with our baby bellies. And my sister had put on a little bit more weight than I did, so that's why this one's a little bit bigger than the one on this side, because that's her and that's me. And that just slides back there. And as our kids got older, we started having more time to ourselves, so we started reading, and we found that we both enjoyed the same types of books. The first one we ever read that was the same was Palomino. And I have a girlfriend who's a librarian, and she gave me some library cards, and in the stack was this one from Danielle Steele Palomino, which is the first book. And then that gave me the idea to make my own library cards for all the other books and collections of books that we've shared. The embellishments on here are just a circle that you cut out and you do a spiral with it and then wind it together and it makes little roses. And we have this metal plate that says wisdom, and then I made this little book, B is for baby, because that was a special time for us. And now as we're getting older, we're starting to travel together, so I made this page to represent our travel. We've been to Cuba twice, so this one says dream, and this is actually a dream beach that we found in Cuba. And this is pictures of us with our spouses enjoying Cuba on 2 separate occasions. And this again, I had embellishments lying around in my scrap room, so I just finished up that page with that. Now this is my favorite page. It's my sister and I walking a beach in Canning, Nova Scotia. We call it the Rock Beach, and the picture in the back here represents the beach. It's a picture of the beach itself, and it is just rocks. And when the waves come in, the sound is just amazing. And one of my favorite poems is Footprints in the Sand, so I made her a copy of that. And I also down here with some, it's just stuff that I have that looks like snow normally, but I just changed the color of it and made 2 sets of footprints walking, and then it goes down to 1 single set of footprints. So anybody who knows the footprint poem will understand that. And then this little pin here, I have several copies of this pin, and for years I wore it on my lapel, and it was just my constant reminder that no matter what I go through, I'm never alone. This is made just with bandage gauze that I dyed. So that's kind of my favorite page. And I have pictures here of my sister and I when we went to Peggy's Cove a couple of years ago. She loves lighthouses almost as much as I do. The last page is, if I had to use one word to describe her, it would be amazing. But if I could use the entire alphabet, it would look like this. So now all I have to do is finish this one blank page, and then I'll be all done with it, but I still haven't figured out what I want to put there to tell her how I really feel. Thank you for watching.